Alright, this is SSLFamilyDad with Simple Sustainable Living, and today we're going to be changing the thermostat on a 2009 Chevy Traverse. Alright, so if you're watching this video, you're probably having some type of an issue with either your heat not working in your vehicle or the engine overheating or both. This is a problem generally caused by your thermostat. The thermostat will get locked in the open or closed position, which won't allow any coolant to circulate through the heater core. You won't get any heat, and the engine won't cool down either because no coolant circulating through it. The thermostat is not that hard to replace. I would consider this an intermediate repair. It's definitely somewhere between changing a tire and rebuilding the engine. So it's somewhere in the middle there. It does require some basic tools and a little bit of knowledge. So hopefully I will be able to walk you through the steps that I took to get the thermostat replaced, and you're going to save yourself a whole lot of money. Any labor-intensive repair like this is going to cost you a fortune at the auto place. They're not trying to rip you off or anything. You got to pay those guys the money that they deserve to do the work that they do. But if you can do it yourself, you're going to save yourself, 30, 40, 50 bucks an hour. The parts that I'll be using today are all purchased on Amazon. As always, with any auto repair that I do, I always have links in the description to all the tools and parts that I used. I highly recommend checking auto stuff out on Amazon. It honestly is the cheapest and easiest stuff to get. It's free shipping generally, especially if you're a Prime member on Amazon, and it's super easy to find parts there, and I've had very, very good luck with all the parts I've gotten on Amazon. So let's go ahead and dig in here and see what we got to get this done. Alright, so first thing we need to do is take off the plastic guard that fits right here. I've already taken mine off, and it's just those little push pins or pop-up pins. You just pop up the middle. I'll show you a tool and a little kit that I got on Amazon that'll make this a lot easier as well. But once this cover is off in the front here, you'll be able to access the radiator cap, which we'll need accessible to refill the system with coolant here or antifreeze, and so we can get that taken off. I would highly recommend getting one of these little tools. You can use a flathead screwdriver to pop these little clips out. The center part of the clip just pops up, and then it releases the tension, and then you can pull the whole thing out. However, if you use a screwdriver on these one too many times, they'll break. I got this little kit, which is something I've been meaning to do for a very long time, so I can replace all the missing ones that I have. This kit comes with a variety for the panels inside and for all the panels on the outside, for just about any type of vehicle, Toyota, Ford, Mazda, Dodge, Chrysler, whatever. Obviously every GM and Chevy ones as well. So a variety pack of those. And so you can replace these clips if you need to, and it also comes with a little tool. I've already got a few that are broken here. And we're also going to need to drain the system. So if you go right down here in the driver's side front and look up underneath, you will be able to find the radiator hose. And it's, can you see that? It's right there. And there's a little clip mine's kind of spun around, but you got to get a pair of pliers or channel locks on that. And it's like a hose clamp, kind of. I'm not sure exactly what the name of it is, but it'll release the tension on that, and you can wiggle this hose off. This is the low point of the radiator, so all your coolant or antifreeze will drain out there. Of course, you want to catch that and dispose of it properly, unless you're going to reuse it, but I wouldn't recommend that. And so once that's all drained out, you can go ahead and you can just leave this off during the repair anyway, just make sure everything drips out. Alright, so to get at the thermostat, we're going to remove the air cleaner housing here, and so there's a clip for this. It'll come off. We can disconnect this hose clamp here, and then I already took out those screws. And this is a good time to replace the air filter. Mine is definitely old enough and ready to be replaced. Okay, so once we have the air cleaner cover and the air filter and everything out of the way, we can see the thermostat. So you've got this hosing right down here That's the kind of the inlet from the radiator, so that's got a clamp on it that will come off. That's just one of those compression type clamps. Okay, so just to get a little better view in here to get to the thermostat, I'm going to take a couple other items off. So first I took the cover, the engine cover off, which is just the big plastic housing here. And all you need to do is just take your oil fill cap off, and then that just kind of snaps off. It's just kind of sitting in there, snapped into clips. Next I'm going to take off this intake here as well. So just unclip this cable and then unscrew this clamp right here, and that should wiggle right off. So that'll get that out of the way. And there's also this cover, this thing right here, and I haven't figured out how this pulls out yet, but there was a screw sitting right in here. I took that out, and I think that once I get the intake out of the way, I can wiggle this up. So we'll get that out of the way too. Alright, so now we've got a more clear access down there. Alright, 10 millimeter seems to be the socket of the day here, so it looks like that's what we need to get this off as well. Should be 3 bolts here. Okay, got them all loosened up here. In my case, I think the thermostat was locked closed, so there's a lot of coolant still in the engine that wasn't able to flow out through to the radiator or to the heater core, which is why we didn't have any heat in the vehicle and why it was obviously overheating. Now in my case, this thermostat also caused the pressure to build up in the engine and the seal, the shaft seal, to start leaking on the water pump, and so that also has been replaced in a previous video. Okay, so while that's kind of draining out there, hopefully you can see there's a small clip on the hose right there, and we're going to take that clip off. And there's also, and let me see if I can get a good angle in here. So this metal tube right here that goes into the thermostat over there, this metal tube has to come off. So I'm going to take that clamp off and then undo that bolt underneath that little piece of pipe there, and we'll get that all removed so we can pull the thermostat right out. Alright, and that bolt was about a 15 millimeter. Okay, so after a little bit of wiggling there, we got the thermostat housing free. So now we can see the actual thermostat and the gasket, which is right here. So whenever you're replacing a part like this, obviously you want to make sure you get new gaskets. I'll put a link in the description, as I said before, to this thermostat, and it came with a gasket. It's not an AC Delco part, but it wasn't very expensive, and it looks like a perfect match. So others seem to have had good luck with it. That's why I like Amazon. You can always get feedback from other people who have gone before you and tried these things out. So we'll get the new one put in here. Alright, so the new part came with this handy dandy little cardboard tube. And if I can get this into a decent position here, the idea is slip this over the top and depress that spring enough to get it off. Just push it in and turn it, and it pops right out. Okay, so here's the new one, and it looks a little bit different. This one has a little bit of a beveled top on it. This one doesn't. I don't think that will be an issue, but the seal around here, gosh, it looks a little different. So we will we'll put it in. We'll see what happens. If I can get that, I may have to use a clamp or something. Okay, so unfortunately I couldn't get the whole thing on video because I just can't have the tripod in here when I had this clamp in here. But I basically just used a wood clamp and a Play-Doh lid on top of the little tool there to pop it in. It's not an issue of strength to push it in. It's really an issue of just there's no good way to get leverage on it. So you know, it's like pushing your two hands together out in front of you. You don't have a lot of leverage, a lot of strength that way. So this works. The thermostat's the same exact size as the other one. It's just you know, it's got a new spring on it, so harder to push. But anyway, we'll take this off and get the tripod back in here. All right, next you want to make sure that the seal surface is as clean as possible. I think I'm going to grab a little piece of sandpaper and just kind of go over that really quick. All right, I'm going to get these tightened down. All right, I'm just going to do everything backwards here. I'm going to put my tubing back on and get the, we'll put this bracket bolt back on first, and then we'll get the tubing put back on, and then we'll put our intake back on, put this thing, whatever this thing is, this little foam dampener guard back in, then we'll put the intake back in. So I probably won't show you all of that. Kind of boring watching me do the same thing in reverse. But put everything back where it was. All right, almost there. Okay, so we're back underneath the driver's side front. And we've got to reattach our radiator hose. Obviously don't forget to do that. And just a tip with these, if you open them up all the way, they lock. So you can slide it into place, and then, or slide it out of place. And then release it, put the tension back on. And now the tension's back on it. So I'm just going to be adding water to the system here at first. Obviously you don't want to leave just water in there because it will boil and it will freeze. But in order to flush the system and just to make sure everything's working, I'm just going to run some water through it. So I'm just going to add about probably 2 gallons or 1.5 gallons of water, and then start the engine, let everything cycle through, and check for leaks. So good, no leaks. And just have to wait for the vehicle to get up to temperature and try the heat in the vehicle. If the heat works and it doesn't overheat, then I know that it's working the way it should. So we'll know in just a few minutes. All right, well that pretty much wraps it up for the thermostat replacement on this vehicle. It was not that difficult to do. The hardest part I think is getting that thermostat to seat into the actual housing. Other than that, the repair is pretty straightforward. So hopefully the video helped you guys out if you're looking to do this yourself. I definitely recommend trying to tackle it. What's the worst that could happen, right? So if you guys have questions or comments about the process or something I left out or you didn't understand, please ask down below. I try to get back to everybody if you have questions on things, or if you saw something that I did that you would have done differently. If you're a mechanic or you've done these types of repairs, go ahead and throw those in the comments. Maybe I'll learn something and everyone else that's watching might learn something useful as well. So as always, guys, please subscribe to the channel if you'd like to follow along. If you'd like to see the whole series on maintenance and repairs we've done on this vehicle, the water pump replacement that I did, which is kind of related to this, and other videos related to this vehicle, I will put a link up in the card system there so you can check those videos out. Just click on that little eye in the corner and it'll take you over to some related videos. As always, hit that thumbs up button, guys. It makes a big difference for us YouTubers. The more thumbs up we get, the better the video does, and the more people can see the content, and hopefully the more people it reaches and helps. So, as always, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good one.